The Great Discovery. In front of the Scientific Society of International Knowledge-Seeking Gentlemen stands Professor Ivan Nidia, presenting his latest theory, while Dr. Abe Noxious, one of the members and founding fathers, challenges the logic of Professor Nidia's theory. The planet must have different layers, just like a fruit.
I'll bet you the planet's hollow.
That doesn't make sense. Then it can't have different layers.
That's because it doesn't.
Then, how do you explain volcanoes?
Because it's hollow like a balloon. And when you poke a hole in it, the air inside will rush out in a burst.
That's preposterous. If that were true, the planet would have deflated ages ago. Going back to my fruit theory, when there's too much pressure inside, like when you squeeze certain fruits, the protective crust will break and some of the juice inside will rush out, just like in a volcano. That must mean at least one of the planet's layers must be liquid. Remarkable!
That's nonsense!
On the contrary, also I hypothesized that as a fruit, it has a strong, solid core, much denser than any of its other layers.
Balderdash! If the planet is solid, how can the little green people inside the planet be in there?
Wait, there are no little green people.
Yes, there are.
Where?
In the hollow part of the planet, of course.
Didn't you say that was filled with air a few minutes ago?
Certainly. If there weren't any air, what would they breathe?
But it would be too dark for people and vegetation to live inside.
You silly ape, they have plenty of light. The core is a mini version of the sun. That's why when there's a break on our ground, like a volcano, some of the energy of the mini sun leaks out, melting anything in its path.
You either have too much imagination or too much time on your hands, Abe.
How about we all agree on the theory that makes more sense? Mine, since there's no way to prove your dull and lazy theory.
Actually, I'll go down into a planet and prove you wrong.
If you're wrong, you'll have to resign from the Scientific Society of International Knowledge-Seeking Gentlemen and will never set foot here again.
But if I'm right, it will be a glorious scientific discovery for humankind.
I'm not sure how you plan to accomplish that, but it's a deal. The bet is on. I must be right, right?
At the dig site, the professor is about to enter a mobile drillship pointing towards the ground. Everyone is excited to see the drillship start its journey towards the planet's center. Professor Ivan Nidia waves at the crowd as he enters and closes the iron door of the drillship. The scene alternates from an outside view of the drillship progressing downwards towards the planet's center, to the control room of the drillship where the professor operates it. What if the planet is hollow? Good thing I took some precautions and equipped the drillship with an ejection system and parachute. Let me take a sample before I go further into the planet. No surprise here. This is the layer we all stand on. It is composed of sodium, potassium, aluminum silicate rock, such as granite. Wow, we are 40 miles down and going. I think I'll call this layer the crust, like the outer part of a pie. The drillship enters the upper mantle. Aha! I knew there was another layer. It seems that this layer has some kind of pudding consistency. Also, I feel movement as if there was some kind of current in this area. I should take a sample for further examination. Wow! 200 miles and counting. Maybe there are only 2 layers. I'll call this the mantle. The drillship continues into the lower mantle. Is it just me or is it getting hotter? What? The temperature is already over 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit and rising? This is insane! I should have equipped the drillship with some icy cold lemonade. That would have been refreshing. I better take a sample to compare it with the others. This doesn't look like a new layer, but it isn't exactly the previous one. I think I'll call you the lower mantle. Let's hope it doesn't get much hotter. The drillship enters the outer core. The depth is already at 1,800 miles. The heat here is unbearable and it just passed 8,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This must be the core, or maybe just the outer part? The sample from this part is composed of melted metals such as nickel and iron. Oh, wait. The drillship is mainly made of iron. I may not be able to get to the inner core, or back to the surface for that matter. The drillship is already melting. Abort mission! Abort mission! Let's take all the samples and get out of here! The professor's hand slams the big red emergency button hard. The professor is shot out through the back of the drillship upwards towards the surface. The professor hears the almost melted drillship smashing into a large solid core. He flies out of the hole in the ground and falls gracefully with his parachute. Inside the Scientific Society of International Knowledge-Seeking Gentlemen's Discovery Lounge. In the center of the room sits Dr. Abe Knockshoes reading a newspaper. The headline reads, "Discovery of the Century. Our planet is like a fruit." The article continues. The now famous Professor Ivan Naidia has just emerged from a perilous journey to the planet's center and has proved that the planet is composed of several layers, just like a fruit or a layer cake. What can this mean and what repercussions will this have on what we know as science? Only time can tell. Article by head journalist Shaggy Sada. The enormous double doors of the lounge open, giving way to Ivan, who is followed by his colleagues. They are cheering and congratulating him. Seeing all the commotion, Abe throws the newspaper to the side and directs his attention to Ivan.
You have won this bet, Ivan, but will you win the next?
Wait, there's a second bet?
There's still a question left. How does a planet move?
Well, I theorize the planet moves because...
I'll bet you the planet moves because there's a giant hamster tirelessly running inside the core.
A giant what?
A giant hamster. You know, the furry animal that runs inside a spinning wheel all day long without tiring. But this one's way bigger.
The professor looks into the screen with a funny, worried expression on his face. Oh boy, here we go again. The whole scene closes in a circle around the professor's face until everything is black and the words "The End" appear.